Hey guys, what's up? I hope all of you are doing well. It's very fascinating the further you get in this practice, the more, let's say, the overarching system will try to put ideas in your mind that what you're doing is somewhat strange. And especially when you take it to parts where you've never taken it before. Let's say you've got to 30 days or even got to a year or close to, you get to some landmark that you've never reached. There's a part of the ego that was used to what the previous you did before and might convince you to, it's okay, you've done so well. Why not reward yourself with some intercourse, with a release? And what I've noticed through my years of experimenting with this practice is that it's always after these moments where the ego is really trying to pull us back to our previous self that something amazing happens on the other side, whether that be some reward financially or some encounter that enhances your life for the better. It's always when you get to a limit that you've never reached before and your ego saying, oh look, you've gone really far, come on, let's go back into the zone of comfort or where we were before. And I making this video to say, push beyond that inner voice that might be telling you, wow, maybe the way you're approaching this, or you're taking this far too seriously. And I often look at the content I will consume, and I very much strip away deleterious content, things that could get me thinking lustful thoughts, or bring up a higher chance of me thinking lustful thoughts. So I very much keep a regimented program with regards to these things. If a lustful thought appears, I instantly eradicate it. And so I make sure content that I consume is beneficial to my practice and of course beneficial to me overall going forward in life. What I notice is sometimes the overseers of our system, something will trigger the program to I'll be on Instagram and suddenly, you'll get provocative content masquerading in the form of something beneficial, like a product. And I was like, okay, you're trying to sell me something, but you have to try to sell me this using your asset or assets. So you might, maybe the previous you, I think, okay, I've got everything under control. I'm going to click on this and, you're back down that hole again. And so I noticed that a lot more of these missiles will be thrown at you the deeper you progress on your journey on retention. And it's not just about the appearance, like the outward experience that we're looking at the spiritual side as well. You are vibrating far higher than a lot of individuals, and you are going to stand out in said system. You might notice the longer you go on your period of abstinence, you become more forthright in conversations and in engagements. There's an air of confidence that you lacked prior, and some of you put that into very valuable work. I'm not talking a job, or it can be content creation, and you become far more outspoken. Let's say the inner child dream that you had begins to manifest itself and it can't be contained anymore. Retention is bringing that out of you, maybe leading to something that could derail what has been planned. You might be a small voice that can spark other voices to better change. Remember now, the fact that we're going against the grain, we're going against what they tell us is normal, right? Self-pleasure, voyeuristic consumption, and self-pleasuring too, voyeuristic content is normal, right? Just has to be regimented. So we're going against all of these things. And retention allows us to increase our aura, testosterone and whatnot. These are things that maketh a man, right? These are qualities, or you will seek out practices to enhance your qualities on retention. And these are men that society doesn't want or has difficulty with, because we're far more forthright. You know, we know what we like versus what we don't like. And if something invades our sphere of influence, we can say, well, this is not a thought, or this is not something that I brought into my sphere organically. Why is it here? And you reject it. On the flip side, a lot of men who do consume, who normalize such behavior, you can say they're far more malleable. They'll fit a status quo. And so you stand out more. As a result, you'll be targeted. But don't be dissuaded. Don't feel put off. Just know that you're doing the right thing. Okay? You're walking the right path. You're doing this for yourself, for your legacy, for your future generations, for the betterment of you, betterment of your future family. Dissenting voices will always arise. Okay? People will always question why you did what you did. And this is funny because I was watching Batman. I think it was the second film, I'm not sure, it's the second or third film, I can't remember, from the Christopher Nolan trilogy. And Alfred dropped this gem, and he said, Master Wayne, you can do, okay, what people are scared to do, okay, what everyone is afraid to do. You as Batman, right, can make the right choice. And the right choice doesn't necessarily mean it's good for everyone. And Batman has often had to make the right decision, right, knowing it would be sometimes perceived as, well, this looks wrong, but he knows long term what he's doing. And so you sacrificing short-term pleasure, instant gratification, people might say, oh, well, why aren't you going out? Why aren't you doing these things? Why don't you engage in, you know, meaningless intercourse with multiple women every week? Why are you cutting these things out of your life? Why don't you drink anymore? Why don't you binge video games and binge eat? You might have had groups of friends that engaged in these activities, and you can no longer be a part of it. So you're making the right choice for you. To them, they might be thinking, well, that's really wrong. Why, you know, he's isolating himself from us. Then what you begin to notice is people come into your life who vibrate on the same level. So you leave one circle and your circle is enhanced maybe by a few or fewer people than previous. You made the right choice, but maybe to a group of individuals, it might even be your family, who say, well, why are you so rigid with yourself? Why do you always work so much? Why do you train so hard? Why aren't you a social? Why don't you engage in topics that we talk about around the family dinner table? And you're making the right choice for yourself, right? And to them, say we can use them as the macrocosm or the microcosm, of society. For them, well, it's wrong what he's doing, but you know deep down, long term, it's the right choice. And SR is the right choice, right? Abstinence and being very frugal with who you share your energy with, not just seminal fluid with, who you give your time and attention to. It's key. It's important on this journey. What you give it to. So dissenting voices, maybe people who mean well but could be somewhat seen as dissenting voices, just know deep down you're doing the right thing. Okay, and if the inner voice comes and says, oh, you've taken it too far, you can take a day off. Just know that you've listened to this voice, and where did that put you? Where did that put you? Just a short, more, you know, talk, conversation with you guys, and yeah, don't count the days, make the days count. Till our next video, take care.